beta, there is no need to write anything on the screen. Kindly behave yourself. You are students of class 10 now. And today is our 11th lecture. Still, you people are there and doing these kinds of things. You should behave yourself now. Okay, let's move towards the lecture. Let me repeat myself once again that first of all, for the student information for the online portal, a form has been uploaded on the Google Classroom. So you all are supposed to fill that form in and submit that form by 8th of July, and today is 8th of July. Okay. After that, the students who are present right now, they are supposed to write their attendance on the chat box. Later on, after this lecture, I will copy down your attendance. Let's move towards the lecture now. If you remember what we were doing in our previous lecture, we were studying from the railway carriage. Okay, so again, in my previous lecture, I have explained you half of the poem, and remaining half of the poetry we are going to study today. So let's move towards the poetry now. From a railway carriage, page number 26. Okay, open your books, page number 26, and today is your lesson number 7, from a railway carriage. Half of the poetry I have explained you in my previous lecture, and remaining poetry, the next two stanzas, I am going to explain you in today's lecture. Altogether, this poem has 4 stanzas. 2 I have explained you in my previous lecture, and remaining 2 I am going to explain you right now. So let's move towards the stanza now. First of all, I will give you the introduction, and the same introduction I have given you in my previous lecture as well. Basically, from a railway carriage is a poetry where poet is telling us about his experience of a railway journey. What kind of experiences he has faced, what he has experienced during that railway journey while sitting in the compartment of the train. The same, all these things he wants to share with us in the form of this poetry. Okay, so let's read the introduction now. Traveling experiences are a source of great happiness for children. In our childhood days, we all had a fascination towards traveling in train because of its length, the sound produced by the mechanical movement of the wheels, the loud horn. Here is the poem from a railway carriage by Robert Louis Stevenson. The poet describes his thrilling journey in a train and about those sights that he saw then. Okay, so all these are the things that poet wanted to share with us. What are the experiences? Okay, if we talk about ourselves, not only in the childhood days, still in this age as well, we all face the same happiness, we all feel the same emotions to when we are going to travel by train. Our emotions are same as they used to be in our childhood days. Still, we enjoy the railway journey, the sight, the scenery, the views that we see while sitting in the train compartment. That emotions or that feelings are still same in this age as well. So being a writer, being a poet, the poet has shared his experiences in the form of poem or poetry. Okay, so this was the introduction of this poem. Let's move forward, and we are moving towards the remaining 2 stanzas of today's lecture. Here is a child who clambers and scrambles, all by himself and gathering brambles. Here is a tramp who stands and gazes, and there is green for stringing the daisies. First of all, I will give you the meanings of these difficult words. What these difficult words are going to have a meaning. The meaning of, first of all, scramble. Scramble means move with difficulty. Okay. Scrambles means move with difficulty. Okay. Okay. Clamber means to climb. Okay. To climb over some steepy area or mountainous area. and scrambles means to move with difficulty. What is the meaning of brambles here? Basically, brambles, you can say that a kind of a fruit like berries, blueberries, these kinds of fruits are known as brambles. Okay, so now, while traveling and sitting in the compartment of the train, a poet has seen a child who was climbing and moving with a great difficulty. And why he was moving with great difficulty? Because he was climbing and he was moving over a steepy area, a mountainous area. And what he was doing? He was gathering, he was collecting brambles. Brambles means the blueberries, the fruits. All these things he was doing himself, nobody was helping him over there. He was moving with great difficulty and doing his work. What was his work? His work was to collect the fruit, to collect the blueberries. Okay, so here is a tramp who stands and gazes, and there is green for stringing the daisies. Okay, what is the meaning of tramp? Tramp means a homeless person. Okay, tramp means a homeless person who moves from one place to another place without any purpose. Okay, an aimless person without any home who keeps on moving from one place to another place is known as tramp. Okay, who stands and gazes. What is the meaning of gazes? Gazes means to have a look, to look at something. In Urdu we say किसी चीज को घूरना, to look something towards something continuously. Okay, and there is green for stringing the daisies. Okay, what is the meaning of green? Green means meadows, the greenery areas where daisies were grown. Do you know the meaning of daisies? Daisies is basically a very common flower which is grown in European countries. Okay, I'm repeating once again. Daisies is basically a yellow colored flower which is very common and grown in uh, European countries. Okay, okay. Let's repeat the explanation again. In this stanza, first of all, the writer is telling us that while sitting in the compartment of the train, while having that railway journey, he has seen a child. Okay, and what was that child doing? That child was climbing over the steepy area, over the mountainous area, and scrambles. He was moving with a great difficulty all by himself and gathering brambles. He was climbing over the mountainous area or steepy area. He was moving with a great difficulty. Nobody was there to help him out. And what he was doing, he was collecting, he was gathering the blueberries, the fruits. Okay. Here is a tramp who stands and gazes. Then the poet has seen a tramp. Tramp means a homeless person, a person who keeps on moving from place to place without any purpose. Okay, so he saw a tramp who was standing and looking, gazing towards the train. And there is green for stringing the daisies. Then another sight, another picture, and other view was that the poet has seen a green area, a meadow, a green area, a meadow, where the daisies were grown and ladies were there to make the strings of those daisies. Do you know the meaning of string? String means हार, किसी चीज का हार बनाना. Okay, so the ladies, what were those ladies doing? Those ladies were stringing the daisies. They were making garlands. Okay, garlands means haar. Okay, they were making garlands of those daisies, the flowers. Okay, so I hope this stanza is clear to you now. Let's move towards the fourth stanza. I have made a slide for the explanation of stanza 3 as well. So when it will be in front of you in the written form, it will be more clear to you. First of all, the reference of the poet or poem. These lines have been taken from the poem From a Railway Carriage, written by Robert Louis Stevenson. In this poem, poet shares his experience of a railway journey with us. He describes its speed very amazingly. He presents natural scenes, seen from the window of a railway carriage. In these lines, poet says that from the window of the compartment of train, he sees a child climbing a steep ground by himself with difficulty. The child was also gathering blackberries during climbing. Poet sees a homeless person who was looking at the train with difficulty. With difficulty, the child was also wait sees homeless person who was looking at the train with amazement. Okay, the child was also gathering blackberries during climbing, and poet sees a homeless person who was looking at the train with amazement. He also sees some ladies in a common village grassy land. They were making garlands of daisy flower. Because all this is the same thing that I have told you in the explanation, that in 4 lines, first of all, the poet has seen a child who was moving with a great difficulty and problem, and he was climbing over a steepy area. And what was he doing? He was collecting, he was gathering the blueberries, the fruits. Okay, then the poet has seen a tramp means a homeless person who was who keeps on moving from one place to another place without any purpose. He was standing over there and he was looking towards a train with great, you can say, excitement. And then the train passes by a green area, green land where daisies were grown and ladies were present there. They were making the garlands of daisy flowers. I hope this stanza is clear. Let's move towards the fourth stanza of this poem. Here is a cart run away in the road, lumping along with man and load. And here is a mill and there is a river, each a glimpse and gone for ever. Here is a cart. What is the meaning of cart here? With a cart, you can say kind of a what word should I say here? Where which is helpful for you to carry loads. Okay. Yes, Amar, beta, you have to submit the form for once only. Okay, no need to fill in the form once again. Only you have to fill in the form for once and submit it by today. Today is the last day. So, we were reading the fourth stanza. He has seen a cart on the road limping along with man and load. What is the meaning of limping? Limping again to move with a great difficulty. A man who was moving that cart from one place to another place with great difficulty. Why he was moving with great difficulty? Because that cart was full of load. Okay, that cart was full of load. You can say cart is kind of a vehicle. Okay, a vehicle which is used to carry loads from one place to another place. And a man was moving that cart from one place to another place, and he was moving that cart with great difficulty. Why with great difficulty? Because that cart was full of load. Something was on the cart. So because of its weight, that cart was very difficult to move, but man was moving it from place to place with great difficulty. Okay, and there here is a mill and there is a river, each a glimpse and gone forever, and gone forever. So what the poet has seen in the next scenery, he has seen a mill and a river, each a glimpse had gone forever. Glimpse mean beta a very, you can say a very short sight, for a short time, a sight for a short time. Okay, a sight for a very short time, जिसको उर्दू में हम कहते हैं एक झलक. ओके, एक छोटी सी झलक. ओके, so in fourth stanza I'm repeating again. First of all, the writer has seen a cart. Cart means a vehicle which is used to carry load from one place to another place. So the man was moving that cart with great difficulty because it was very heavy due to load. Then, what the writer has seen, the poet has seen, he has seen a mill and a river. All these scenes were very short, just like a glimpse. in glimpse means एक छोटी सी झलक, and all these sights have gone forever, और फिर हमेशा के लिए all these sights have gone forever. We are not going to experience these sights or scenes once again. Okay, so I hope that these two stanzas are clear to you, but I have made a slide for explanation of stanza 4 as well. When you will read this stanza explanation, it will be more clear to you. Poet says that he sees a cart moving slowly in the middle of a highway. It was full of load, and a cart driver was sitting on the top of the load, and he was moving it with great difficulty, as I have told you. He sees a watermill and river while traveling in the train. All these objects appeared and then disappeared so quickly that poet looked at them for a very brief time, and they can never be seen again. Okay, whenever we sit in the train and we experience different sights and sceneries, we experience it, we see it for the first and for the last time only. Okay, as we know that when we will experience the next railway journey, maybe we will not see these kinds of scenes and sights again. There will be something more. There will be something new in the next journey. So that is why the writer has written here that all these sights, all these scenes were gone forever. All these sights and scenes had gone forever. They will not be repeated again. In our next railway journey, in our next train journey, we will experience something new, something more. Okay, so if I give you a review of my lecture number 10, what we have read in lecture number 10. In lecture number 10, in the first stanza's explanation, first of all, the poet, the writer has compared the speed of the train with fairies, with witches, and he compared the train with the army, with the soldiers who were ready in the battlefield to attack their enemy. Then, in the second stanza of the poem, the poetry, the writer has compared the speed of the train. The writer has compared the train with the driving rain, with the hard rain, as one drop and then another drop are light rain transformed into convert into a storm. In the same way, the train is also running very fastly, just like a heavy rain. Then, in the third stanza, the writer has seen a child who was climbing, who was moving with a great difficulty. Why? Because it was a steepy area, it was a mountainous area, and he was gathering the fruits as well. Then he has seen a tramp. Tramp means a homeless person who keeps on moving from place to place without any person purpose. He was standing over there and he was looking towards the train excitedly, and then the train passed by a green area, meadows where daisies were grown. I have told you the meaning of daisies as well. Daisy is a name of the flower which is very commonly grown in the European countries. Okay, so the ladies were making garlands of those daisy flowers. Then the writer has seen, the poet has seen a cart. What was the cart having? The cart was having a very heavy kind of load on itself, and the man was trying to move that cart with great difficulty. Okay, then the train is passed by a mill and a river, and all these sights and sceneries were gone forever, because in next journey, in next railway journey, maybe we will not experience these sceneries again. There will be something new, there will be something different from all these sceneries and views. Okay, so coming towards the central idea of the poem, I have told you whenever you are going to write the central idea of the poem, first of all, you will give the reference of the poem and name of the poet. So, in the same way, I have also written here the poem From the Railway Carriage is written by Robert Louis Stevenson. This poem tells that one decides upon on objectives suiting one's natural aptitudes and capacities. One should not waste time and should use all the energies in the effort to attain it and not to be distracted by anything, however beautiful it may be. We are not here to pay, to dream, to drill. We have hard work to do and lots to live. Shun not the struggle, it's God gift. Shun means to avoid, किसी चीज से बचना. Aptitude means your abilities, your capacities. Okay, what is the central idea of the poem? The writer wants to tell us that in this course of journey, in this journey of life, we will be attracted, we will be inspired by number of things. Okay, during the course of life, a human being is attracted and inspired by number of things, a lot of things, but it doesn't mean that we are supposed to stop at that point. Okay, we have to enjoy that scene, we have to enjoy that beauty only for the limited period, and then we are supposed to move on. Why? Because in this life we have few objectives. Allah has given this life to accomplish our goals, to accomplish our objective. So, what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to keep on moving. We are not supposed to stop at one point in the life. In this life, we will be attracted by number of things, very beautiful experiences, like the poet has experienced very beautiful scenery, the natural scenes. But it doesn't mean that the life of the poet has stopped over there. No, the journey is over, and then the life is still moving on, the life is still going on. Basically, this is the central idea of the poem, of the poetry, that we will be attracted by a lot of beautiful things in the course of life, in the journey of life. But it does not mean that we have to be stopped there. Our purpose is to keep on moving. Our purpose is to fulfill the goals of life, to accomplish the goals of life before we die. Okay, this is the basic aim, the basic theme, basic central idea of this poetry. Okay, what is the theme of the poem? If you remember, Peter, in my previous lecture as well, I have explained you the theme of the poetry as well. Acha, once again, I want to repeat here. The students who have still not written present in the chat box, Peter, kindly write present in the chat box. Later on, after this lecture, I will copy down your attendance. And one more thing, beta, please fill in the form which is uploaded on Google Classroom, and kindly submit that form by today. Today is 8th of July, and 8th of July is the last day for the submission of the form. Okay, I hope I am clear. Now, we are moving towards the theme of the poem. The joy that we get from traveling is the major theme of the poem. Also, beauty of nature comes as a theme in the descriptions like meadows, the horses and cattle, sights of the hill and the plain. The poverty of human beings too is a theme. Okay, poverty means gurbat. Okay, from which scene we came to know about the poverty? Beta, it was the scene of that tramp. Tramp was the person who is not having any kind of home, any kind of house. He keeps on moving from place to place. That is why he was standing over there and he was looking towards the train with great excitement. Why? Because he was a poor person. He couldn't experience the railway journey. खुद तो कभी भी ट्रेन में नहीं बैठ सकता. He cannot experience the railway journey. That is why he was looking towards the train with great excitement. So this is basically the scene of poverty. This is also the theme of the poetry. Okay. The poverty of human beings too is a theme as suggested by the scene in which a tramp looks excitedly at the train. So the themes of the poem basically the natural beauty, the natural scenes, number two, the poverty, gurbat. And the poverty scene was that scene of that tramp who was excitedly looking towards the train. He wanted to enjoy himself the railway journey, but he was not able to enjoy this journey because of that he was poor, because of the poverty. Okay, so what is next now? Acha, beta, what are the key points to learn? What you are supposed to learn? You are supposed to learn, first of all, introduction of the poet. I am repeating once again, beta, introduction of the poet is very very important for you to learn, for the sake of fill in the blanks, MCQs, and question answers. Then you have to learn the theme of the poem. I have explained you the theme of the poem, the natural scenes, the natural beauty, and poverty. These all are the themes of this poetry. Then the central idea of the poem. What is the central idea of the poem? Central idea of the poem is that in our course of life, in the journey of life, we will be attracted by, inspired by number of beautiful things. But it doesn't mean that we have to be stopped at one point. No, we have to move on. This is basically the purpose is to accomplish the objectives of life, the goals of life before we die. Before we leave this world, we have to accomplish a number of goals in our life. In spite of this, that we are being attracted by a number of things in our life, but no, we are not supposed to be stopped over there. Okay, then you have to learn the meanings of difficult words. Okay, you have to learn the meanings of difficult words and explanation of stanzas. Explanation of stanzas is very very important for you to learn, beta. Please, whenever I give you any task to do it very seriously, take it very seriously. This is all for your betterment, for your goodness. All these things we ask you to do, so please take it very seriously. And now we are left with last 4 minutes. Any question you can ask me regarding the poem, regarding the central idea, or any difficult meaning you want to know, you can ask me. I'm waiting for your response now. I hope this poetry is clear to you, Beta. First of all, the poet has given us the comparison of the speed of the train. He has compared the speed of the train with number of things like witches, fairies. He has compared the train with the troops, the soldiers, the army is ready in the battlefield to attack. Then the poet has compared the train with heavy rain, slanting rain. Then in third stanza, the poet has seen a child who was moving with great difficulty over the mountainous area. Then he has seen a tramp who was excitedly looking towards the train because he was a poor person and he couldn't experience the railway journey. Then he has mentioned about the daisies. The garlands of daisies were being made by the ladies in the green area. Then the poet has told us that all these scenes were passed
भाई
only
वहाँ पे एक लाइन हो जाए
फूल कभी दोबारा नहीं खिलते, जन्म कभी दोबारा नहीं
passed
मिलते, मिलने
within
को
a few
हजार।
minutes. Okay, so I hope that all these things are clear to you now. So you have to learn all these things, you have to learn all these points. Please take them very seriously. And till my next lecture, after this lecture, your homework will be uploaded on Google Classroom. This class link will be available on the Google Classroom. What I am noticing, what I am observing, that you people are not taking any kind of help from your recorded lecture. These recorded lectures are only for you people to take help from there. Whenever you are doing your written work in your journals, maintenance of index is very very important. Kindly maintain the index of your journals by writing the name of the topic and date. Subtitles I have mentioned in your assignments, and your first assignment till today's assignment. I am going to upload today's assignment as well after this lecture. So today's assignment plus tomorrow's assignment. All these assignments are supposed to be submitted by 10th and 11th of July. Most of the students were asking me to kindly extend the deadlines. Beta, we cannot extend these deadlines. In your upcoming assignments, we will give you a little bit relief, but the assignments that are supposed to be submitted by 10th and 11th, you have to submit them by 10th and 11th. Yes, beta, Saad, after this lecture, I'm going to upload the assignment. So today's assignment and tomorrow's. Tomorrow's means Thursday's assignment. Today's and tomorrow's assignments are also included in the assignments which are going to be submitted on 10th and 11th of July. Okay. So please complete your assignments on time, do your work very neatly, and submit your assignments by 10th and 11th. 10 और 11 जुलाई आपकी डेट्स हैं फॉर द सबमिशन ऑफ योर असाइनमेंट्स. In upcoming assignments, in our next week assignments, we will give you a little bit relief. Your assignments will be short as well, plus we will give you some time as well. I hope you people will cooperate with us. You people will cooperate with us and you will submit your assignments very religiously and seriously on 10th and 11th of July. So till our next lecture, till our tomorrow's lecture, take very good care of yourself. Stay home, stay safe. Beta, in school you have to submit. Saad, Muhammad Shahir, beta, you will bring your journals in school.